Hello and welcome to Talk Good Game as a match preview of West Ham United against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Gonzo, how are you doing?
I'm alright, mate. Yourself?
I'm not too bad. As it stands, obviously at the time of recording, the game is going ahead as normal. The fans are going, the players are going, the teams are going. This preview is now going. Gonzo, what's your thoughts on Wolves, please?
Wolverhampton Wanderers are the club I would dearly love to be, or love West Ham to be. I often look at Wolves and look at their they're obviously playing at a point of recording this and look like they're possibly on their way through to, was it the last 16, the last 8 possibly in the Europa League. And I do often wonder if their player recruitment, their selection, their choice of manager, the way they recruit their understaff, if you like, in terms of the academy and their scouting and just the way they've invested shrewdly, wisely, and you look at the progress of the club, and as we just mentioned, they find themselves in this position. I do wonder if our owners, who are so happy to trot out and tell us how much they've spent in recent times, don't take a glance at Wolves and think, how have they done that? How have they managed to do that? It's so well run. And I don't know how you want to look at it, whether you want to look at the club, whether you want to look at the manager, whether you want to look at the playing style, the personnel, the way they buy. It is just a hugely impressive club, Geo.
It's the right people in the right places for me, in every different place as well. They've had, I don't want to say luck, because there is a science to it almost. They've had, but I'm going to call it luck for the sake of the preview, but don't jump on me for this. But they've had a bit of luck with lack of injuries. They've been able to they've had a small squad, they've got a small squad. Last season they've done it with using the fewest outfielders throughout the season. I think they only used 16 outfield players last season. This season they're not using much more than they are, with the Europa League campaign thrown in, which they're taking incredibly seriously. They're putting out the first team all the way through the competition. Poor Connor Cody's still waiting for a rest. But it's fantastic. I think they're flying the flag for the non-Sky Sports top 6 football clubs. They're saying this is what you can do, this is what you can achieve, this is what you should aspire to, and we are showing you how to do it. Copy us, essentially. But unfortunately, not many clubs are good enough or financially solid enough to go and copy them. They're just brilliant, though. I think they've got one of the best managers in the league. If I was a Wolves fan, I'd be worried that if Pep was to get a bit fed up at the Etihad and he goes, that they might turn their attention to Nuno. I think Arsenal, I know you're a big Arteta, well, you were a big take a punt on Arteta fan. I think Arsenal perhaps should have probably went a bit stronger for Nuno. He was heavily linked at one point. I think he would have been a really good manager for them. And I think they've got one of the most underrated players in the Premier League at their club, but we'll get on to that in a second. A couple of years ago, we discussed West Ham getting into Europa League. You weren't too keen on it. We had a debate. I was very pro Europa League. You were very anti Europa League. I asked you this last season, or when we played them the first time. I can't remember what your answer was, in all honesty. But have Wolves changed your opinion on West Ham playing in Europa League, essentially?
Well, firstly, since we last had that conversation, they have offered up a place. So the winner of the Europa League now gets into the Champions League, which changes the dynamic hugely, doesn't it? That's a massive carrot. I did think it was relatively Mickey Mouse for quite a while. I didn't think UEFA themselves treated their own tournament seriously. It was the Johnston's Paint Trophy to them, I think. So, but I think now they've given it the Champions League spot. It makes an awful lot of difference, and I don't think it's a massive money spinner either. So you look at that and you've really got to be committed to it. I still think if West Ham went into it, we would have conspired to muck it up anyway. So just don't think we're run like that. You mentioned a manager going to Arsenal. I still believe Arteta is probably a fantastic manager and will be a fantastic manager. But I don't think you'd see an awful lot different if whatever his flaming name is, what's his name?
Nuno.
Nuno. Nuno Espirito, whatever his name is. I don't want to get the pronunciation wrong, of course. I dare say if he would have gone into Arsenal, he would have found that pretty tricky as well, because he probably would have gone into Arsenal for, hold a second, the as you say, all the people, all the square pegs in the square holes possibly aren't there at Arsenal as well. So on the Europa League, quite possibly. I was listening to the radio the other day, 2 days ago, and there was a Wolves fan on there, just phoned in, and he phoned up and he said, "Do you know what?" He said, "I think we can win this." And I didn't laugh at the radio. I thought, actually, maybe you can, mate. And for Wolves to have come that far without the massive cash injection, I know they've spent money. I know they've spent, whatever, 70 million in a transfer window and maybe another 80 million or whatever. But they've not gone out and done a Manchester City and spent a 1.5 billion or anything like that. For them to come to the Championship and do that, and actually for their fans to think they've got a realistic chance of winning the European trophy, I think it's magnificent, really.
No, I think they can win it. I think they will win it. I think they will go on and win the Europa League, and I hope they do. I really do hope they win it as well. Players you admire at the Molineux, there's quite a few.
Yeah, there are. I mean, I've always admired Traore since he pitched up Aston Villa, pitched up at. When we were linked to, he played for Middlesbrough. I thought he was brilliant against us. I said so in all our reviews. I'm really gutted we didn't go and get him. I get a lot of players wrong. There's no doubt about it when I spot him. We should go and buy that chap. But I think wonderful. Again, had he come to West Ham, I'm pretty sure we would have probably conspired to have mucked it up, and he would have got injured. You mentioned their injuries earlier on. I'm pretty sure that they've got the best sports scientists, medics, and physios that's probably played some part in it. I really like Bolly. And I've done for quite some time. I think he's a big, strong, robust centre half. I really like the look of him. We did our build-up video. Not build-up video. What video? Where we ranked all the strikers. Yeah. And Jimenez. You like that? I wasn't so sure, and you were, and you were right. He's a really good player. He is a really good player. A very good striker. Not sure on Dendoncker possibly, but I really like Neves. And I know Moutinho has had the bigger career and is an absolutely class player. But I think Neves is 22 or something ridiculous like that. My word, he has got a hell of a career in front of him. And you know what the biggest thing I'd say about Wolves is maybe you wouldn't, if a bigger club came in, maybe you wouldn't be that tempted to go. Maybe you might think, actually, it's not a bad place to be. I'm sure to get decent wages. It's just not. It's not an awful lot bad to say about them, is there? Really?
No. There's plenty of players you can admire as well. I remember doing a preview for the game at their place. I remember saying in it I was disappointed by Jota thus far that in the season, but I can change my mind now. So actually, I'm impressed with him recently. I think he's the man in form. I really like him. I really like Jota. A really good player. I think Moutinho is one of the most underrated players in Premier League. I just think he's just class. Whenever I watch Wolves, I know Neves gets the plaudits. I think he gets not too much plaudits, but I think he, for whatever reason, he seems to be more of a fashionable name than Moutinho for some reason. And I think when Moutinho leaves Wolves, because he's quite old now, I think he's 34 now, so he's coming to the end of his career. But when he does go, can Neves step up? I think he could, but I wouldn't bank on it as such. I think Moutinho is so vital whenever I watch Wolverhampton. He's just such a good player. But Vinagre, their left wing back, I really like him. He's found it difficult to get into the team because they've got Johnny there, but he's injured at the minute. So Vinagre's come in. I find him more direct. I think he's better offensively than Johnny is coming down that side. And I fear him on Sunday, actually. I do fear him coming down there. I know he's up against Ngaki will do well, but Vinagre is a young lad himself. He's quite eager to impress, and he's got to get in the team. But yeah, anyway, praise all around for Wolves. If you're a Wolves fan, you've enjoyed the preview so far. Where we talk about our team now, and to be honest with you, we might not give much praise. But before we do, it's a home game, which means the boats are open thus far. Obviously, if that changes, we will update people on social media and on the forum, hammerstrack.com. Keep up there. But when you book your tickets, the link in the description. When you book your tickets, obviously the boat operators collect your data, and they can see who is due to attend, who's got tickets. So if the boats were to get cancelled for whatever reason, you would then receive an email, which would tell you boats are cancelled, do not come. But if you want to join us for a beer and a burger before the game, link is in the description. Hopefully we'll see some of you there on Sunday. The team news for West Ham. There's only one bit of team news really, and that is Yarmolenko is back and available for selection. He played an hour for the under-23s earlier in the week and came through perfectly fine. Carlos Sanchez also played 90 minutes, but I think he's also perfectly fine, but not in consideration, unlike Yarmolenko. But do we want to see him in the start 11? That is, well, I think you probably know the answer to the question, but we'll get on to that. Back four. This is getting easy now. Back four stays the same in Gakia, Diop, Ogbonna, Creswell. No changes?
It certainly is, mate. Absolutely. More of the same.
Well, this is where we might not see more of the same. Souček is back. Souček's fit now. Does he come straight back in for you?
Yeah, he does for me. Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Souček alongside Rice certainly is something that I would want to see, mate. Yeah, for sure.
I've got a slight tweak to that, but I'll get onto that in a second. The other toying costs, I think I know your answer, but it's a social media discussion. Michail Antonio, obviously wasteful against Arsenal, if you want to call it that, and obviously we've got Felipe Anderson sitting on the bench there. Would you make a change there? Would you keep faith in Michail?
Well, Michail has to play up until I still think he'll probably get injured between some point and the end of the season. But if we stay up, Michail Antonio will play a massive part in that. There's no doubt about it. He's a massive part in our team and our drive. He doesn't stop. You don't feel like you ever have to motivate him. Not I know I'm not in the dressing room trying to motivate him, but it seems like it would be a low maintenance type player, certainly in times of motivation and attitude and application. He's going to play a massive part, Geo. He has to start, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Anderson wouldn't.
So would you start Anderson as well?
It really depends what he's going to do. I said this after the Southampton game. It felt more like a 3 in a Southampton game, and then it just felt like we reverted back to a 2. And listen, we played really well against Arsenal. I just felt Fornals was left.
Okay, so even if we have a 3, who's your front 3 then? Antonio's 1. Who's your other 2?
No. I mean, yeah. The point is, the team. I would possibly, if we're going to play in a similar shape, I would possibly drop Anderson and bring Anderson in for Fornals. If he plays central, I play Fornals. It's as simple as that, really. It depends. I just thought he was completely wasted out there and just lacking in any sort of pace at all. So which I have a feeling with Wolves, because they play with. They play with 3 at the back, and they've got the wing backs, so to speak. I'm not sure whether Moyes will double up. It's going to be interesting to see what Moyes does for this one, actually.
What would you prefer to see? What's your choice? The 4-4-2 with Anderson or the 4-3-3 with Fornals?
I prefer to see the way we played against Southampton with Fornals in there, but Fornals central and setting the other guys off. Which, and as I say, I felt the 3 was Bowen, Haller, and Antonio. But yeah, I just felt it was a little bit different. Marginal, small details, Geo. Small details. If Bournemouth's going to play as a left winger, might as well play the left winger.
I would like to see a more obvious 4-3-3, because I didn't necessarily feel the 4-3-3 against Southampton as much as yourself and other people did. I thought it was a 4-4-2. I just thought Antonio had a free role as such and was moving around the place. I would like to see a more Liverpool-esque 4-3-3 because. And it's more because of the midfield battle. My front 3 would be Bowen, Haller and Antonio. I think you keep Antonio in. It's funny, really, when you were speaking about Traore earlier, I almost wanted to say, I think Traore at Barak, I wasn't overly keen on it because he was too much like what Antonio still is. Raw. He was too raw. He wasn't the finished article. But Wolves have polished him up a little bit. I almost wonder if the Wolves coaches could have polished an Antonio up 5 years ago to what a better version of Antonio is today. But that would be my front 3. Now the midfield 3 is the same players as you've got, which is Souček, Rice and Fornals. But I would be moving Souček over to the left of that 3 to try and help combat Traore, because he's their biggest worry. And up against Creswell at their place, he just continuously roasted him because he's too big, he's too fast. He just kept knocking it past him and running. And I would like to see us help Creswell out a little bit here. Who's the best person to do that? Well, probably Declan Rice, but I'm not willing to sacrifice Declan Rice out there. I want Declan in the middle. I want him to concentrate on Moutinho and Neves. So that leaves Souček to me. So I would like to see Souček to the left of Rice, whose job is essentially to go out and help Creswell as much as possible. Whenever Traore's come in, you go out there and let Creswell go down the line and you stop Traore coming in a little bit. But I forgot what I was ready to say now. What was I ready to say? Well, you're not going to know what I was ready to say, were you?
Oh.
Yes, with the Wolves team. This is where Moyes has got a gamble. We know he's going to play 3 at the back, Wolves. We know they're going to play wing backs. We know Jimenez is going to be up front. But the question is, and this is where, when I watch them every week, I struggle to guess what they're going to do until the lineups come out, and that is who's going to play. Because he's been protecting Traore of late. Traore's had his injury. He's come back. He's been protecting him. He started tonight against Olympiacos when he was a doubt. So that makes me think, will Nuno risk him from the start? And if he doesn't, that means Dendoncker comes in and he goes in alongside Moutinho and Neves, and then Jota plays as a more conventional striker. And for that, I think we almost need to make sure we have 3 centre midfielders just in case Nuno goes with the 3 in the midfield. I'm not very keen on us. If we were to go with a 4-4-2, for example, and then Nuno was to put Dendoncker in there and go with these 3 centre mid and 2 strikers, I think we'd struggle in the midfield. Rice and Souček or Rice and Noble, whoever it is, I think they would really struggle with Moutinho, Neves and Dendoncker. So I think the 3 in the middle gives us a plan for both. Before we get on to the game, let's step away from the game a little bit. Obviously, the coronavirus thing's still up in the air. Boris has done his speech. He doesn't think there's a reason to ban sporting events yet. However, it's Thursday evening. There's still 3 days before the game. It could still get moved behind closed doors. How big an impact do you think it would have if it was put behind closed doors?
Not a huge one. It's difficult, Joe, because I could talk about this thing for an hour.
No, don't talk about the coronavirus. Just the impact of fans.
No, I know, but it's all put in one leads onto another. I don't think we have a massive home advantage. Would be the shortest answer anyway. I think we're a long way from the pitch, so I don't think it will hinder us that much. And I think there's bigger parameters at play than this. Okay, we're so far from the pitch there, so actually it's how familiar we are with the stadium. Well, our players are more familiar with the stadium anyway. Wolves are playing tonight, Greece. Their plane is probably not going to land back in England until 1-2 in the morning at best. Those players are possibly not going to be tucked up in their beds until 5 in the morning or something silly like that. Because of that, they're not going to train tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Saturday, they're probably going to travel down to London. In many respects, this game's going to finish, and the next active thing they're going to do is pull on their kits on Sunday at the Olympic Stadium. And I think that probably is a bigger... Added to the fact, as you mentioned the other day, they don't even want to be there. They don't want to be in Greece doing this.
No.
They do have a carrot of the Champions League dangling there in front of them. Chelsea have started to pick up points and have eked out a little gap in the league. Man United seem to be... I just wonder, there comes a point where in their assessment of where how important the league becomes balanced up against Europe, okay? I think all that with the fact that they're basically not going to really have any time between now and playing against West Ham. I think that is possibly a bigger factor than a behind closed doors game.
Yeah, I think it's for West Ham. It's probably the ideal time to play Wolves because of what you've just said. But they're used to this. They've been doing this all season. They've been playing away in Europe and then coming back and playing in England on the Sunday. This isn't anything new to them, having interrupted sleep or no training. And then the next game, they're used to it. So I don't think that's too big a factor as such. It's got a little one, but I think if this was earlier on this season, I'd be a bit more hopeful of it having an effect. But I think the no fans, I think, would have an effect on us. Sometimes it can be quiet, but I thought against Southampton, I thought the stadium was really good. It was one of the best it's been for me. Mark Noble spoke about after. It was a bit of a backhanded compliment. He says, I can usually tell when the crowd's up for it by how they sing Bubbles, and they were really up for it against Southampton. Now I took that as you're not normally up for it, are you? When you come out, you're normally a bit quiet, and to be fair, he's not wrong. I've stood there sometimes during Bubbles, people around me are still mid-conversation thinking, oh bloody, this song's on again, bloody hell, do we have to sing it? But I felt Southampton, I felt the fans were up for it, and I do think fans are up for it again on Sunday a little bit. And actually, I think this this likelihood of us not attending the following game or possibly even the game after that, this could be our last game for a while as a football fan. I think that might inspire the fans a little bit, say, right, we really have to make this count now. This is our last chance to help, to be the 12th man. This is our last chance for a little while of doing it. We need a win here. And I think it'll be a big difference. It's playing's obviously one thing. Scott McTominay spoke earlier because obviously Man United played behind closed doors as well, and he spoke about it being like an under-23 game. He said we played under-23 games before. There's no crowds there. No one turns up, so we're used to it. We've all played it at some point. So I get what he's trying to say, but Wolves are playing it tonight, and from a spectator's point of view, says I in my seat, it's horrendous. It feels like a friendly. The tempo of the game is heavily influenced. I think it's not as quick as it usually is. And some of my friends have been watching Italian football at the weekend, and they were saying the same thing, that it's different. It's no fans changes the game a little bit. So, are you confident though? Back to the football.
No, I wouldn't say I was confident. Again, it's hard to be confident, but I don't think I'm quite hopeful that we can get something from the game, Gio. And I do think there is something. And I take what you're saying about they've been doing it all season, but I do think the fact they don't want to be there is a major part. And I really do. I also think I agree with what you're saying about the stadium. It was loud against Southampton, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility, and it's happened many times there that actually the away fans are louder than the home fans anyway. That happens quite a lot in that stadium. And
so they're good fans as well, Wolves. They're one of the noisiest fans, noisiest grounds I'm all in you.
Yeah, they are loud. So I don't mind if they've got one advantage. Maybe it is actually what you said. You talked about whatever his name, McTominay, was saying they're used to it. Well, Wolves are probably more used to it because they've just done it. They've just played an empty stadium. So will that help them? Quite possibly. But I'm hopeful we can get something from the game.
Yeah, I'm hopeful as well. I think we've now got. We shouldn't really do it as a preview, but Wolves is going to go down. Through my bet that did.
I was just about to ask.
But I'm optimistic as well. I think we've done our preview and we've got the same 11 out there. David Moyes will have 10 of the 11 for sure already written down. You might have doubts over one or two players, but that's all it'll be. It'll be doubts. You might be thinking, I need Souček in there. How do I get him in there? Who do I take out? It won't be big changes. We've now got a blueprint. We've now got a foundation. That's good. The back four have been playing together for 3 games now. I imagine they're going to continue playing on Sunday. This is good now. We've now got something to go forward with. Wolves are, while I say they're used to it, I imagine Nuno will make 2 or 3 changes from the starting 11 tonight. Dendoncker didn't start. I think he might come in. There might be a change at the defence to freshen up a bit. So there will be a bit of disruption. So I don't know. If I'd done this a couple of weeks ago, I'd have said we were getting beat, Gonzo. I would have with my chest puffed out. I said we are not getting anything from this game. We're going to comfortably get slapped 3-1 or something. But I'm just a bit after our performances and their situation. So can I get your score prediction, please?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for a 1-1, but there is a condition to that. And that is that maybe your idea is okay. What I don't want to see, what would worry me, is if it's as I said earlier, if it's Fornals helping out Cresswell and Asu Traore's got a dribble round, then I think we're gonna have problems.
Yeah,
because they're just too slow, the pair of them. So I like him to draft something out and do so. But if I'm sure he's onto that tactically, David Moyes no fool. He is gonna know who their fast, strong, tricky player is. So I think I might do a 1-1, Gio.
I'm going to agree with you, actually. I'm going to go 1-1 as well. Would you be happy with 1-1?
Yeah.
Because
I did that on my predictor when we did our mug of tea last night. I did the 1-1 because I was finishing on 40 points with my revised.
Yeah, see, my only worry, and this is away from West Ham again, my only worry this weekend is I think the teams around us are going to pick up points. The last couple of weekends, the results have very much gone for us. Bournemouth have lost, Watford have lost, Villa, Norwich, they've been dropping points. This weekend, I think there's a small chance that all the teams around us avoid defeat. And I think that'll put a bit of pressure on us, particularly as we play Sunday. So Anfield, we went into it with the benefit of all the other teams got beat 2 or 3-0. I think we're going to go in on Sunday knowing that Watford's just won or Bournemouth's just won or they've both got some really good...
Watford got Leicester though. Watford have got Leicester.
Leicester, who have 3 players in self-isolation.
Really?
Yeah. Do you not know Leicester have got three
I've
players?
had my ear to the ground today.
Yeah,
Really.
Leicester have got 3 players showing symptoms of the virus and they're in self-isolation. Don't know which 3 players. And Ricardo Pereira is out for the season. So in terms of playing Wolves at the right time, I think they're playing Leicester at the right time as well.
Wow, yeah.
So anyway, this is what's come to worrying about other teams, worrying about deadly disease, deadly virus. But anyway, we've got lots of content coming up tomorrow night. We've got a video, myself and Gonzo going live to discuss the results of a survey we posted on YouTube. Hopefully you've done it. If not, I'll put it in the link actually. You've got another half a day to do it and get that done. On Sunday morning, the patrons will have a video from myself and Gonzo. We'll be hooking up to do a little video first thing Sunday morning. Link is in the description for that as well. Then depending what's happening, but as it stands, Gonzo will be doing the build-up show with you, and then he'll be doing a watch-along with Gonzo over on the forum channel, and then we'll sort something out for the review and hopefully have some fan cams. It depends on what's happening and with the game being behind closed doors or not. But anyway, hopefully I'll see some of you on the boats. Gonzo, thank you very much, as always.
Thank you.
Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new around here, and we'll see you tomorrow night, hopefully. Take care.